Hi guys, Nicole Kernahan here. Very excited that you have completed the GratiShift 30-day program. Congratulations, no matter if you did every day, if you missed a few days. I hope this was a great experience for you, and I'm really excited that you've gone this far. So what I'm going to share with you today is a recap of some of the key learnings, just really quickly. And then I want to share with you a couple of different ways that you can hold on to what you've learned. Okay, and the backstory behind this is that I've had a lot of clients ask me, how do I hold on to this from now on and forever? Because we know when you make a big shift in your life and a big change, you want to hold on to it. If you eat a salad for 30 days and you start to make changes and you really feel that shift and your health improves, and then on day 31, you go back to the old way and completely stop everything, you're pretty quickly going to get back to the old way of being, right? So I want to really ensure, my purpose is to help ensure that you hold on to this and grow and expand and make it way bigger and better. So there's a couple of different options. One is I'm going to teach you some things you can do on your own. If you never see me again and you just want to carry on your own, I'm going to give you that option. And then for those of you who want to learn how you can take the next step and learn more content and more information and work together further, I'll teach you some other 30-day modules and programs and things that you can do so you can see what some of those options are. Okay, so let's get started. Congratulations, I already said that. So there's this is the recap portion. I'll try to go through it fairly quickly. There's 3 components to behavior change. So this is what you would have done in this 30-day program. This is the process, the system, I would call it, that I use. And it is proven through research. Every single part of the GratiShift program, the audios, the videos, the writing, the coaching calls, they're all research-based to work together. So I want to really make sure I give you this recap of what you did and how the program was designed. The first is the curriculum, and that's the content. So that's like going to school and you go and you just go for the information and you're gathering information, knowledge, and like the flow of the content and the type of content. So curriculum is the content, which is a really important part. And it's really important that the content you're learning is relevant for you and your life and your business and your health and all relationships. In our case, all those components are part of what I teach. But so the curriculum is really important, and you want to make sure that it is sourced from valid, credible places that you trust as well. The second, but that on its own is not enough. That on its own is not, hopefully you can see my face, that is not enough. We know a ton of highly educated people who've gotten a lot of content and gone to school and got degrees, and they are not getting the results in their life that are possible for them, that they deserve, and that they are capable of achieving. And we also know people who do not have a lot of degrees and seem lucky, right? They're not lucky. They're following a process. They're doing things differently. Even if they may not have gotten the formal curriculum, formal content education. So I do value content, I highly value education, but it's just not the only thing. It's not, in and of itself, it's not enough. Even our content, even the content I'm teaching is not enough just to learn the content by itself. So the second part is the process. I'm gonna actually talk about that in a moment, so I'll hold on to that. And then the third piece is the coaching. So the curriculum, the content that you went through in GratiShift, I'm only going to share one quote today, and this is a statement from Wallace D. Wattles. He's the author of a book called The Science of Getting Rich, which is a really, really old book. It's like an antique. It's this around the same time as Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. If you're not familiar with those, they are valuable to go look up. However, they are a little bit advanced. You got to take some time to absorb, and they have to be studied. They're not a book to read casually. They are both kind of study books, I would say. But this particular book, Wallace D. Wattles, has an entire chapter on the law of gratitude. And he says this: there's a law of gratitude, and if you are to get the results you seek, it is absolutely necessary that you should observe this law. It's a law, the law of gratitude. So the curriculum that you learned in this program, it's a law, so you must keep it with you from now on and forever. So don't let this information slide, even though it might seem fluffy and it seems like it's gratitude. Whatever your perception is, if it's not, I want you to grasp the magnitude of this and the science behind how being grateful changes how the results you get, because it changes your thoughts, feelings, actions, and therefore the results you get in your life. And everything I teach and facilitate always has gratitude. So it's layered learning. So gratitude comes with us. You don't move on without keeping that. It is the foundation. That's why it's a standalone. That's why we do it by itself. It is a basic foundation that is it always continues on. Okay, so that's just my one little quote I wanted to share, just to leave you with some inspiration on gratitude and the power of it. So this is the other concept that you learned within gratitude. This is a piece just about understanding the mind and how gratitude is one vehicle of changing the mind. There's other ways as well, but this is one of the basic foundations, like I said. So most people, what we do when we look at the results in our life, in our relationship, in our health, in our business, in our income, in our career, we look at the results and we take it one step back and look at our actions. And if we're not getting the results that we seek, then we say, what actions am I taking or not taking that are leading to that result? It is so easy. We are so programmed in North America to look at the action and say, I'm not getting the health that I want, therefore I need to go to the gym and change my diet. I'm not getting the sales that I want, therefore I need to make more calls or do some sales training, or you take some kind of an action to change my result. Now, don't get me wrong, action, I do believe action is required, but that is not the root cause. It is, where is the action coming from? Because if you're acting from a place of doubt, fear, worry, negativity, your actions are not going to lead to the results. We have to go back to the root cause of what even caused our actions to begin with, and that's when we go back to the mind. And that's when you guys learned a little bit about these two parts of the mind. The conscious mind is the thinking mind. The subconscious mind is the feeling mind. And that's the first level of gratitude, is thinking thankfulness, which is lovely. And it's a great thing to do. And it's absolutely better, more than what most people do. That's kind of like the idea of writing a list of things you're grateful for. It's really important. But it's the feeling part, the subconscious level, the emotional connection to those things, is feeling appreciation. That's the second level of gratitude. And then acting in generosity. When you come from a place of feeling like you have more than enough, therefore you're able to act from that place. So the conscious mind is that thinking mind, that logic mind. That's where content and knowledge goes in. But until you can shift your beliefs and through repetition and a process of acceptance and move that into the subconscious mind, into the feeling mind, that's the only time it changes your actions. You don't act from a place of conscious thinking. No. You only act from a place of subconscious. And that's the subconscious, is your emotional mind, the emotional part of your mind. And the other thing to note is that your subconscious mind controls all your habits, your self-image, and it controls about 95% of your actions and results. So take it from me that we really want to dig in to this subconscious mind. That's your paradigm, all those things. And gratitude is the foundation. Gratitude is the fastest way to start that process, to start that shift, to change how we feel as fast as possible, to try to make that transition. So the process, that was a bit about the curriculum, the content, but I led into the process there by telling you the importance of understanding the flow of the mind. So everything we do in our process is to get the content into the subconscious mind so that it is permanent in your life and it changes your actions and changes your results, okay? So all these parts are really research-based and highly important. So the first components that you did weekly are watching the weekly lessons and attending the weekly coaching Q&A calls. The daily parts are listening to the daily audio. So you listen to that audio every day for 7 days, complete the exercise in the elevated gratitude journal, and then reading the gratitude statement, ideally out loud, every day. So these are the components. And I will say, for those of you who want to know what I do on an ongoing basis for any future programs and curriculum, the process is similar because it's proven. So these components are necessary in order to change that cycle in your subconscious mind, which controls 95% of your results. So the reason we have so many different layers, if this feels like a lot for you, for some folks I ask and they're like, this is no big deal. But for most people, they think this is a lot of things to do to fit into your day. But once you start doing it habitually and automatically and it becomes part of you, like brushing your teeth, then this becomes a normal way of doing things. And that's when you really start to catapult those results in your life. So one other piece of our process is that, like I'll have you going through these 7 different areas of life. As you'll know, relationships, time, money, health, career and interests, spirituality, and ultimately yourself, how you think and feel about yourself. And what I hope you found as you were going through with this were some aha moments that even if you were here for your relationships, you found some interesting ahas in your career, or if you were here for money, you realized that you had some things that you could work on in your health. We are one person and all these aspects are connected. And it is, I don't know if it's ever happened. It's pretty much always you will find, if you do the work and you actually commit to this, you will see that you will have in the past, or if you continue on other programs, you'll see those interconnections between these different areas of life, and how freeing it is when you can catapult your career. And one of the reasons was maybe you were being held back in the health category and you didn't realize that was affecting your career. It's pretty cool. And then the final piece I'll mention real quick is the coaching. I say really quick because it's only one slide, but it is so important. And I'm not just saying that because I am your coach. I'm saying that because I have seen the difference in my own life. I always have at least one coach, typically 2, sometimes 3, in different areas of my life. It is black and white, night and day, the difference in my own life and my own results that I've seen and in all of my clients. And there's actually a statistic which I'm about to share from Tony Robbins that he says training on its own can give about 22% growth, which is good. Training with personal coaching can provide about 89% growth. Now the GratiShift program, depending on the variation that you did, some of you may have been doing the kind of lighter Q&A version, which was not as hands-on necessarily, not as intensive, a little bit lighter in terms of the interaction, and I don't push you as hard, and I don't, like, in a positive way. Some of you were in more of the hands-on coaching format, and some of you just took it based on your preference and where you were at and what you were feeling on how involved you wanted to be. But definitely getting in on that coaching level and building that relationship and accountability, and there's a whole concept with group coaching and how much that can affect our results as well. But I really love this quote: training with personal coaching can lead to about 89% or more growth. Tony Robbins, who we highly respect as well. Okay, so what's next? This is what you want to know. So here's the first thing I'm going to share with you. If I never see you again, hopefully I do. Hopefully at some point. But I mean, let me reword that. If we don't work together again, but we still might connect and see each other. But if we don't work together again, totally fine. My purpose is to help empower you to be the best version of yourself, whatever that looks like, whenever that is. So here's the thing that you would do on your own. So from now on and forever. So grab yourself a blank journal. There is a journal called the 5-Minute Journal. I'm somewhat familiar with. I haven't analyzed it in detail, but I think it's something kind of similar. I think you can buy it maybe on Amazon or even at a bookstore perhaps. So there's something kind of, if you want something that has some kind of a guide, I believe without having analyzed it in detail, that it's a good base. Or photocopy one of your last pages from the gratitude journal, like page 29 or something, or just use a blank journal and then write these things out consistently. So I would love to recommend that you read the gratitude statement forever. You don't have to read it every day. I would love you to read it every day. Bob Proctor, who is world known as one of the top teachers on personal and professional development and growth and success, has been studying and reading the same book every day for 55 years. There is no amount of time that would be too much to read this information. Okay, so I don't want you to think, oh, I've read it, I should probably get something else. You can, and there's lots of other amazing, incredible things to add on, but this is so foundational that this will never be, there'll never be too many times. You can't read it too many times. The second thing is listening to, this one, the specific example is the last audio, but you have access to the audios in the GratiShift program. So I would highly recommend going back through week 1 to week 4 and re-listening to those audio lessons as many times as you'd like. You can do the whole thing again, just re-listening to them, and act in generosity. That's the 3rd level. So there's going to be, it's actually in the written portion as well. But that's really what I would suggest. So and in terms of writing each day, those were the check boxes at the top. But in terms of writing, you would write 3 things that you're thankful for. So that's thinking, conscious mind level 1. 3 things that you appreciate as you reflect on those. That's subconscious mind, emotion, feeling, appreciation, 2nd level of gratitude. And then moving down, I'm just going to skip right to the bottom there, generosity. That's when we shift into action, and every day doing at least 1 act of generosity. Now, an act of generosity can be as simple as opening the door for someone when you otherwise wouldn't have. So sometimes it can be big and grand, and I would love to encourage you to do as much as you would feel like and you're ready for, but even some small little things, smiling at someone, saying hi, have a lovely day to someone who looks like they're not having a good day. Little tweaks can actually have a big impact as well. So it doesn't always have to be big acts of generosity. Every act of generosity counts, but that would be something I would suggest on a daily basis. Okay, now the only thing I will say is that from history and research, there is a high probability there is another law called the law of diminishing intent. You might be listening to this right now and say, yes, I'm going to do that. I'm going to re-listen to all these things. I'm going to write some of my own. It is highly probable, if it hasn't already happened by the time you watch this, that you've fallen right off. Then you've gone back the old way, that you've stopped doing journaling, you stopped writing. Maybe you didn't know what to do immediately and you've fallen off. But the law of diminishing intent states that within a short window of time, it can be as short as a day, 2 days, 3 days, the feeling we had in the moment that we made the decision to do it has completely passed, and we've gone back into our habitual emotional state. We've gone back into our regular life. Things have happened, work, family, things have come up that have derailed us from the decision we made not too long ago to do that thing that we said we were going to do, and we've fallen off. And if we don't get back on quick, the likelihood dramatically drops that it will never, ever, ever happen. That's where a coach comes in real handy, and that's why these weekly coaching calls were so important. Hopefully you attended as many as you could, or you do attend in the future, but they are the piece that picks back up and really keeps you going as well. But I want you to be aware of that law of diminishing intent, because that is high probability. So do it right now. Stop what you're doing. If you're listening to this, maybe don't stop this exact moment of the video, but try to do something right now. Like write 1 thing you're grateful for. Grab a book, make a decision to go buy a book today. Try to take at least 1 step to start that momentum in the positive direction. Okay, so that's what you would do on your own. Now I'm going to take a few minutes to explain to you what some options are that you can do if you want to continue to grow and evolve and transform your life and business and health and relationships even further. I love this quote from Jim Rohn. He says, "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills." So I would love to teach you more skills. If you're excited and you're ready and you're feeling good after GratiShift, I would love to be the vehicle to help you think through what options could work for you to develop more skills and to become even better. So I'm going to walk you through really fast, as fast as I can, 10 different modules. You went through 1 of 11. So I already talked about gratitude. I'm going to go through quickly the 10 others. They are commonly people sign up like to do 6 months at a time, like to sign up and commit to the whole thing. There are different payment plans, or it is optional to sign up for just 1 module, 1 program at a time. And we can talk through that. It's easy to often have a chat, and we can talk through and see which option would be the best for you. It definitely, when I walk through it, you'll see how they flow in order, and you can see kind of the accumulation. It's layered learning. So there's definitely value in doing them in order in that flow, but it depends on where you're at, what you need, lots of factors. Okay, so I'm going to go through them real quick. The content, I've already explained that the process is very similar in terms of the 30 days. You get a 30-day journal, the videos, the audio, everything is the same. Weekly coaching, fairly hands-on, usually 10 people in a group, like 10 to 20 at the very, very, very most, but usually not even that high. And that's usually the sweet spot. That's like the range where you get to have enough personal interaction, but then you get to learn from all these experiences and examples from others and build relationships. That's been the group size range that I have found the best results and experiences with. So the first one that you already did was gratitude. So I'm going to use the analogy of planting a garden. And this is the example. Gratitude is the example of loosening the soil, loosening up the ground. We are the shift, right? We call it GratiShift, the perspective shift on life. We are shifting your perspective. We are opening your eyes. We are changing how you feel, how you think, feel, act, see the world, see yourself. It is the foundation of that shift. It has to be maintained every day for a long time for this to stick. Okay, you can definitely see and feel, you can't unlearn what you learned. So you will likely have some level of shifting forever, no matter what. But it is important that you continue to hold on to this mindset. So that's gratitude. And that's why every single one of the other 10 modules, we do gratitude every day. We do the 3 layers of gratitude, plus whatever the other lessons and concepts that you're going to be learning. So gratitude is the first one. The second one, one of my favorites, is finding your purpose. So this is kind of deep. It sounds kind of deep, like your life purpose, but it is really finding your why. The reason why you get up in the morning, the reason why you have a desire to do a certain thing in your life, in your work, in your business, in your health, in your relationships. It's really digging into your why. So we spend a lot of time on finding out your values, where you're currently spending your time, where you want to spend your time, where you currently spend your money, where you want to spend your money. We dig into values, desires, and we also do a strengths test. So you do a professional strengths test to kind of get an assessment of what some of your key strengths are. And then we fit all this together to help clarify some clear direction for you. And you can apply it depending on which area of life you want to put the most focus on. But it's a really powerful exercise. So it's 30 days. Each one of these things I'm talking about are 30 days. So that's purpose. The next one after that is, so we pick the seed. The next one is picking the seed, and picking the seed is defining your inspirational vision. So this is essentially your goal, like the direction for your life. If I ask 9 out of 10 people on the streets, will say that if I ask them what your goal is or what your vision is, most people do not have a clearly defined, written down inspirational vision. But I will tell you, all the most successful people in the world are pulled by their vision. They're pulled. Their vision is out here in the future, and it's got like a hook, and it's pulling them. And they're tired, and they get stuck, and they've got problems, and they're dealing with stuff, but they are pulled forward by their vision. So they're like, well, there's no way it's not going to happen, because they have to find solutions. Like, I got to just move those things out of the way because my vision is pulling me towards it. It's pulling me forward. So we spend a lot of time really digging in to what you really want in your life. And again, all of these, we're looking at all 7 areas of life. So you can decide which area you want to primarily focus on. A lot of the time it's career, business, money. That's a very common area that people focus on. Sometimes it's health specifically, and that's like the primary area of focus. And sometimes it's both, or any of the other areas of life. Those are just common ones. Okay, so we get your vision, and then we teach you about like how it works in your mind. How do you have to create that? How do you word it? How does the sentence structure work? How do you actually ingrain it so that it pulls you? Because you can just say, oh, this is what I want, but we got to figure out how do we apply that into your conscious and subconscious mind so that it actually is something you wake up excited about. Being realistic is the most common path to mediocrity. Just a little quote I threw in from Will Smith. I love this one. We didn't wake up this morning to be mediocre. So we want an inspirational vision. So the next 2 modules, I put these 2 together, but this is the idea of planting the seed. So we've picked the seed, and now we want to plant it. So this is understanding the power of mind and words. So the mind module is 30 days. We actually go through, it's a little more in-depth. You got to be a bit more in school mode. We're really going through the science behind the mind. The stuff that you learn in there, though, is absolutely life-changing. You need to know that. I can't even imagine how did I live up until this point without knowing that. I was an unconscious competent in some areas of my life. So I was really successful in some areas, and then I really struggled in other areas. And I couldn't figure out, I just assumed I was going to be successful in my, when I first started, I'll use my retail store as an example. I assumed I'd be successful there because I'd been really successful in my corporate career. You can apply other reasons to the differences in that obviously as well. But I realized that I didn't know how the mind worked. I didn't have a clearly defined inspirational vision. I didn't understand the conscious and subconscious mind and how it all works. Once I learned that, I could apply that learning into any goals I had, or any vision, any area of life. And I want to give that gift to you as well. It just takes the stress off a little bit. You can just like breathe. You can look forward to things instead of living in fear and doubt. It's just a really beautiful place. So understanding the power of the mind, and then the words module is where we actually focus on four different areas: the words you speak, the words you listen to, the words you read, the words you write. If you ask some of my clients over the years, that one module has been pretty transformational. People have changed the way that the words that they use in an email structure, and then like dramatic changes in the responses that they get. They've changed the music they listen to, the TV they watch or don't watch. The words, the awareness of words and how they affect us and what types of words we're putting in and putting out dramatically changes our results. It's life-changing, because when you change what you're putting out, you're going to change what you get back as well. The next one is picking the weeds, and this is the idea of belief, building belief. Even though we've got your purpose and your vision, and we're planting the seeds, and we understand the mind, and we're changing the words we're using in our lives, and we're absorbing, you're going to see dramatic shifts in that as it is, but there's still going to be weeds that creep in. We are human. Even the best of the best who've been studying this for the decades, there's still glimpses of doubt. And I wouldn't suggest that we should never have doubt anyways. I believe in contrast. You don't know you're up if you're not down sometimes. So I think it's all right to be up and down a little bit, but just being aware that those are false beliefs, that those are fears, that those are limiting thoughts, that they're not truth, and really being aware of some of the beliefs that we're holding on to that were probably programmed from our past life experiences and things, and they're not actually true today, but we think that they're true, and we need a different perspective on this. So really digging out the weeds and building beliefs so that we can keep going and keep picking ourselves up and moving to the top of where we want to go, and not getting held back if we get stuck. The next one is Nourish the ground and the plant, and this is developing a strong self-image. One of my favorite concepts. You cannot go beyond where you believe you can go. You cannot go beyond the image that you hold of yourself. The self-image, the image that you see, the way you see yourself today has to be different in the way that you see the future version of yourself. If you continue to see yourself as you are today and the image that you have of yourself today, then you will continue to keep getting the same results and to keep being the same version. And obviously we're looking for an improvement on the amazingness that you already are, not trying to change you so that you're not you, but you're just an improved version of yourselves. You wouldn't be here if you weren't looking for improvement and growth in your business, your life, your health, relationships. But it's really, really critical to understand what our self-image is, the fact that we often have two self-images, and we have an inner image and an outer image, and they're often in conflict, and our image was based on a lot of things from the past, and just really understanding this so that we can create the true image of who we are. This is really powerful, even regardless of how I'm articulating it right now. And then these last few that I'm going to share really quickly. So those last ones that I just finished, those are kind of a 6 that are often bundled together. These last 4 are the action series, the achievement series. They're like really, there's a shift in this power action area, which is super exciting because I'm an action person. So I love this section, but these 4 are brand new. These last 4 are brand new. So I'll go through them quick, but this one is the idea of letting it really grow, trust in action and momentum. And I know I've said action isn't the root cause, but there is incredible value in action. It's just in inspired action. When you're inspired to act, do you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and then take the action? Or when you have an idea, do you freeze because you have false beliefs or fear or limited thoughts and time and all the other things? So we've built a different version of yourself up until this point, and now we're going to be taking a much different approach in terms of action and really building even more momentum. Lesson 9 is looking forward to the fruit. This idea of discipline, persist in discipline. and a positive discipline. The word discipline can sometimes have a negative connotation, but this is really the power of positive discipline. And I will tell you, I didn't understand this for a long time. When I started studying this material, I was a good student, and I started, and I didn't miss a day. I listened. I literally didn't miss a coaching call. I was like one of the only people, because I did it. It was like over a 1 year period. I honestly didn't miss a coaching call, and I was so disciplined. I was really, really disciplined, and I realized that that was rare. I was like, oh, why is everybody else not so disciplined? Now we have a program to help teach this, which is amazing. But for me, I realized I had actually built it up because I had done 10 years of martial arts. I had a health life experience. I have multiple sclerosis. I had a life emotional impact, which is a life experience that happens unexpectedly, and typically it's negative. Doesn't always create a positive change in action, but for me it did. It led me into that discipline, back into that disciplined behavior. So I became a habitually disciplined person in other areas of my life. So my paradigm, my habit, my subconscious automatic behavior had become to be disciplined. So it was easier for me to be disciplined in this. If you're not habitually programmed to be disciplined, as most people, a high percentage of people are not, then it's really important to understand how to shift and change that. Now, I do teach a little bit of these concepts. Like if people are struggling in week 2 on discipline, like we can bring in and interact these concepts at different points in time. That's what why I'm here. That's what a coach is for, to help depending on what you need at where you're at. But this is just really the deep dive into this concept. Lifelong lesson, permanent transformation that you can apply. The second last one is habit. Whoopsies, went too far. Sorry, habits. Who doesn't want to change their habits? And this is really embracing the power of habits and understanding the science behind habits. And then the last one is embracing help from others. And the idea of influence, increase your influence, positive influence. Good things in our life come through people. If we own a business and our business is growing, it likely was a result of people. People were buying things, people were selling things, people were doing things. There are people involved in our lives, in all good things that happen in our lives. There are other people that are in some capacity in many different ways involved. So really understanding how to embrace help from others and increase our positive influence, so that they want to surround us and work with us, and we want, because we want to surround and work with them, and we create this really unique positive dynamic. All right, that is the end. So you're capable of more than you can possibly imagine, because you have infinite potential. So we never reach the peak of our potential, because there is no peak. You're either going up or you're going down. You're not staying the same, and you never reach the top. You're going forward or you're going backwards. So I hope that you continue to always go forward in your life. So what I want to offer specifically is I'm going to suggest booking a discovery call. I don't want to put a barrier up. If you're like, I'm ready to go, just sign me up. I want to do it all. Definitely send me an email. But I would say it's really valuable to have a quick conversation, or long if you are stuck and you're like, this sounds kind of good, but I'm not sure if I'm ready. That's what I'm here for. So we'll have a quick conversation. My job is to help you think through it, to help you understand what it is, see, and to genuinely find out if it's the right fit for you and which parts or which options might be, and to really help you think through it. Because if you do feel like this is the right fit and you know you're ready, or you don't know you're ready, you do feel like it's the right fit, but you're scared and you don't know if you have the time or the money or the circumstance or whatnot, then I want to help you think through it and help you to find scenarios where we can make it the right fit for you if it is. This was me. I was in that same spot when I first started, and I'm so very grateful for my coach for helping me think through it. He's not convincing me to do it or not do it or any particular course of action, just helping me think through it. And that's what I want to be here for you to do as well, because that's what I'm programmed to do. I'm a positive psychologist. I'm here to help hear you out and understand what you need and see whether this would be a good fit for you in your life right now. And if it is, then I'm so excited to continue on this path. Okay, so we'll talk to you very soon. Have a fabulous day, and I'm looking forward to connecting. Thanks so much, guys.